Johnson, and I work in poetry and drawing mostly, usually bringing those two things together, and most of the time that happens in zines and bookmaking. I think that books to me are like this perfect technology. They're just so compact. It's such like an incredible way to pack so much into, an object that can be carried in your pocket or in your backpack. And they just have like unlimited options, I think, for what kind of content they might contain and what their form might be. For me, I'm usually trying to make sure that like the image and the text component of the work are each kind of like doing their own work, and so they're not redundant. And I also think that like image and text working together allows kind of multiple entry points into a work, in the same way that in a pop song you have music and lyrics that kind of give you two different ways to get into it. And like when I was a kid, I was not a very good reader, and what eventually got me into reading was these kind of like classic children's books, like the Alice in Wonderland books that have these incredible illustrations. And so I think, yeah, like having multiple ways into the work is makes it more approachable. I think for me, working in multiples is mostly about the idea that like then anybody can just have it in their home, like that I can then make things very cheap and accessible, and it's something that people can, like of my income level or lower, can just have in their home and live with in that way. So it becomes less of a kind of like rarefied object or experience that you just have in a museum or that's just for art collectors, but it's something for everybody. I am very like drawn to small objects because of the kind of like intimacy of it, the way that they kind of require you to get in close to look at them, and maybe there's something you can even like hold in your hand. And like I was saying about multiples, they're also like something that you can have in your home and live with, and there's that kind of intimacy and it being part of your everyday life. And I think in terms of like the content of my work, it's a similar thing in that there's this very kind of like small little lens on what is being depicted and focused on, that's also about the kind of like everyday rituals and everyday spaces and these things that kind of really like shape and define your life, but in that quiet kind of way.